So basic is Spanish and Huddies is English. Hello and welcome to the KendallCast Movie Roundtable. I'm your host, Kendall. With me as always is Ian.
This is the way.
And Nick.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, man. Nick is so much louder than Ian. There's really not a way for me to adjust that.
It'll normalize.
Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's just that it's loud in my ears. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking about the defining moment of a generation, the greatest movie of the last quarter century. Maybe not quite that, but we're talking about Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, the latest Star Wars movie, spinning out of the Mandalorian Disney Plus series. I'll just say this is the most fun I've had at a Star Wars movie since Attack of the Clones. So this is a great movie. All right, let's start with I'll give my spiel in a second. Or well, no, I'm going to give my spiel now.
Do it.
I do it. Yeah, go. Set the tone here.
Why is it so great, Kendall? Why is it
so great? Okay, so just set the stage. I took the day off work. It is kind of lame that we don't have midnight showings anymore. There was something special about midnight showing, but day off work showing is not the worst thing in the world. So I saw it the first time at like 2 p.m. and then with a bunch of other people who had taken the day off work. A bunch of people had the shiny Mandalorian. I don't know if they were popcorn buckets. I thought they were popcorn buckets, but then there's a Grogu popcorn bucket. So I don't know, but they looked like Mandalorian helmets. And, came out of the first showing, having enjoyed it greatly, heard probably the worst possible take about the movie, which is probably what Ian thinks about it. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll bring that up once we've given our first. But yeah, I just thought it was really fun. I don't need it to be like people are like, oh, this isn't a saga defining or whatever. It was just a fun romp with these characters that I like. And it was great. And then I saw it in IMAX at 7 that night in a packed IMAX theater full of little kids that were laughing and cheering. And it was two of my favorite movie experiences that I've seen in a long time. So Nick, what was your what was your first impressions of the film?
It was fun. I think that's the main thing, is that it was fun. It probably most similar to Solo, as far as the other movies go, which, if anyone remembers from where I ranked the various movies, is not a bad thing for me. It did feel a little shallow, but at the same time, we finished the first arc, and I was like, how long has it been? I think we still have way more story in this, which was kind of nice. I've seen some criticism out there that has talked about how it's just a couple episodes. We'll talk about that later. But I think the main thing to take away from it is that it was fun. If not maybe the best movie in the world, that's the main thing. It was good old-fashioned fun, which is supposedly what I want out of Star Wars, so I'm not going to complain about that.
All right.
Yeah. So
Ian.
actually, yeah, my take is very similar to Nick's. Actually, it was fun. I felt like this a lot during the Mandalorian show as well. But as a Star Wars fan who grew up imagining Star Wars and playing Star Wars and reading the Star Wars books, I always felt like the creators of the show were I always wanted to have the Dejaric board monsters duking it out, or I always wanted to see the inside of an AT-AT walker and have a fight play out inside the walker, and they throw all this stuff into the movie. And it's just kind of fun to experience. It's the action was pretty good without. I kept noticing the creatures and how cool the creatures were. The big snake under in the hut's floor, and the Jajaric board of creatures, all this stuff. I had a lot of fun with it. I also have a long list of problems with the movie, but which we can get into a bit. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Okay. That's okay, cool. I'm glad at least so I think that's okay. That's something like I don't want to get too in the weeds with like talking about internet discourse because everybody on the internet's an idiot. And I think we all agree on that, right?
I haven't been listening to the internet discourse.
Right. I've been spending too much time on Reddit. I discovered Reddit 6 months ago and like I've been spending too much time on Reddit. So I have like, you know, I can't not push back, but I would, and also I will say like, I'm to the point with Star Wars criticism where like, I just can't listen to people talk about it for the most part, because so many people, I think everybody's an idiot. And you know, like even people who like say they're Star Wars fans, because most people just because of how time works, most people who say they're Star Wars fans are actually kind of lapsed Star Wars fans right now. I think, especially people who are 40 years old, you know, they are past their prime, and I tell myself I'm still in my prime. But anyway, it's funny. It's really funny when you see the reviews, because it's like there's some people who are like, man, that was one of the most fun movies I've ever seen, 5 stars. And then there's other people who are like, that was one of the most fun movies I've ever seen, 2.5 stars. Like,
yeah.
You know, and it's like I think everybody agrees on what the movie is.
Yeah, everyone agrees that it was fun, right?
Yeah. I think
yeah, what you're looking for beyond that.
Yeah, it's what you're looking for. So first of all, I will say, I'll go ahead and throw out, this is what I think is like the worst possible take, was that I will say that I rewatched the finale of season 3 of the Mandalorian so that I like remembered where we were at, which the end, which basically had nothing to do with this movie, but you know, they beat the bad guy. Din Djarin adopts Grogu formally, and then they're like, we're going to do some adventures.
Yeah, well, it kind of felt like he was retiring a little bit. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the end of season 3, but it kind of felt like he was settling down a little bit. So to me, and maybe I misremembered the end of season 3, but to me going into this movie, I'm like, oh, so he's working for the New Republic now. Oh, and yeah, Zeb's there for some reason.
It ended with him formally, with him like saying to the guy who's my favorite character that I don't remember his name, the older fighter pilot guy. He's like one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars, and I don't know his name. But
Grief.
I don't know.
But no, not that guy. The other guy. Okay. Yeah.
But he says in season 3 of The Mandalorian, he says probably my favorite line in all of Disney era Star Wars, which is, and of course I'm gonna paraphrase it because I don't know the exact quote, but he says it's not your fight, but your friends are in trouble, and I thought you should know. When he tells the Mandalorian that Apollo Creed's planet is in trouble. And they sort of are like, well, no, it's not, you know, we got our own problems. And he's like, well, you know, I know it's not your problem, but I thought you should know. And then, you know, obviously they go rescue them, and it's everything I want out of, you know, superhero media and Star Wars and all this stuff. But, what was my point? Oh, but yeah, he ends season 3 with him formally, working for the New Republic. So it is directly, it does, I guess in that sense, it does pick up right where it left off. For me, the most important thing is that by the end of season 3, we no longer are worried about, is Grogu going to go away? Like this is, and I mean, this is sort of, you know, and it's called The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's no longer called The Mandalorian. It's like, they are a team. That's just how it's going to be. Now we're going to see adventures with these two guys. It's not about like this, like, I don't know if will they, won't they is the right way to say it. But anyway, but the worst possible take was somebody came out of it and he was like, they didn't talk about Moff Gideon. They didn't talk about the Mandalorians. They didn't talk about the clone of Emperor Palpatine. Like, I mean, it was a good movie, but they didn't really do it. And it's like, I don't want any of that stuff. Like,
yeah,
for me, that was it. They tied it up at the end of season 3, and I, kind of don't.
Yeah.
Need,
So for the record,
for
the record, you could have made this movie a little more focused on like Mandalore, and you could have Bo-Katan, and like there is a movie there. This just isn't that movie. And
right.
That's
Right.
okay.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of a palate cleanser for the Mandalorian. Like it's a return back to the season 1 essentially of the, hey, we've got a monster of the week and we've got one problem to solve and we don't have to fix the entire galaxy right away. And
right.
I think that was a really nice touch. It feels it's pretty Western in its own way. I mean, the whole Mandalorian is that, but it's very much like guy rolls into town with one goal and has to fix all the fix a bunch of problems that come up just so that he can do the one thing. I really do love the bounty hunting where they're just like, oh, I'm going to go get this guy. Let's see how we do it. Even if it took like an hour for the first one, that was great.
That's one of my minor nitpicks, right? So like a guy is somewhere on a planet, right? I'm just going to fly down to a city and I'm going to ask the guy at the hot dog stand. And it turns out the guy I'm looking for is like on a billboard right next to me to my left.
I don't really have a problem with that because of how Star Wars has done environments where entire planets are like a city's area, essentially.
But it's like, it's a little lazy, right? Just to say,
it is, but it's also an efficient way to save time.
That's the genre, though.
Yeah,
I think that's what you do. That's exactly. I mean, it's, if anything, it's textbook. I wouldn't call it lazy. I would call it textbook.
But
he didn't
like bounty hunt.
So
right?
So if Commander Coin had been the focus of the entire movie, I think it would have been lazy. I think it would. I think that it would have been kind of a cop out, and I would have liked to have seen him do more sleuthing. Since Commander Coin is essentially the halfway point for the film, I think it's fine.
Well, and I think, I mean, like, Obi-Wan goes to Utapau and the first guy he sees tells him exactly where General Grievous is.
Yeah.
Luke lands on Dagobah, and the first guy, and he crash lands on Dagobah at that, and the first guy that he sees is Yoda.
Yeah, some people argue that Yoda pulled him down.
Yeah,
I don't know if I buy it or not, but he comes and goes without issue following that, so maybe. Even
like, I mean, R2D2 and C-3PO. I mean, I guess you could argue that R2D2 is landing on the, is landing on Tatooine near Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he's looking for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but it's just, that's just kind of, that's how you could also argue that in this, probably he has a little bit more intelligence besides just the name of the planet. It's just that we don't they don't necessarily have to show every bit of it. And I mean, he goes to the big city and asks,
he went to the capital.
He's looking for a hut. It's not like he's looking for like a dude.
Yeah, it's fine. I can forgive it, but it just felt to me like if it was so obvious, he could have looked to his left and just seen the billboard without talking to the hot dog stand guy.
But that guy is awesome. He's another one.
Is awesome.
That's one of the things this movie does so well is it has those minor characters that are so memorable. I don't want to get bogged down in like, Disney Star Wars criticism or whatever. I don't want to get bogged down. I keep saying I don't want to get bogged down in this and then getting bogged down by it. But like that was my issue with specifically The Force Awakens, but the sequel trilogy as a whole is there are just very few of these like memorable minor characters. You have like Maz Kanata and you have Unkar Plutt, and that's the end of the list. Like,
what about Babu Freak?
Oh, Babu Freak. You're right. Babu Freak, and you have his whole. You have all the Babu Freaks in this one.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Babu Freak is there's 3 movies and there's 3 characters that are memorable. There's all the I mean, all the stuff that they tried in Maz's, all the minor characters in Maz's Castle were forgettable. All the characters in Canto Bight were forgettable. All the, but this one has, and I mean, I guess, I mean, it has the Dejarik match, like, just in and of itself is so cool.
With the direct call out, of course, where the
I love that moment.
Sarah,
Right.
slams down the
masterful move. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And especially like as a Star Wars card player, all those characters have cards. There's a Hujix and Savrip and a Grimtosh and like every, I felt, and but at the same time, so that is like an Easter egg, like pure fan service moment, but but the movie wasn't full of that.
The movie also didn't have a character going, "Hey, look at that! It's the blah blah blah."
Right.
Which was a nice thing.
It had enough respect for the audience that it didn't. You saw Dave Filoni do a little cameo, but at which everybody in the theater was like, "Hey, that's Dave Filoni." All of the men in the middle of the afternoon explained to their wives that was Dave Filoni in the middle of the theater. Otherwise, the theater was pretty quiet. But when that happened, you could hear every single overweight man talking to their beautiful wife and saying, "That's Dave Filoni."
Who was Dave Filoni in this? I don't actually know. I wasn't.
Here's one of the pilots who was sitting in the bar.
Yeah, you see him in the bar. He's got his cowboy hat on, and then and then you see him again. As a fighter pilot, which
I did notice that character, and I was like, "Why does he stand out?" And I've just moved on.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, did they have him do 2 cameos? That's weird." And then the second time, I was like, "Oh no, that's the same character."
It's just
yeah.
Apparently, he's in the squadron.
Yeah, because that's what Nick. You said this is like Solo. This is actually like what I wanted Solo to be, and I love Solo. But it was just an adventure, and that's all it needed to be. It had that dragon snake is a reference to Dagobah and Dave Filoni and the Dejarics. But other than that, it just looked like a Star Wars and felt like a Star Wars without being just a series of member berries.
So Embo, right? The bounty hunter that he was fighting against, that was Embo, right? So that's also a reference to previous Filoni work.
Right.
And then, of course, Zeb just kind of being there.
Right. Well, I think Zeb, it makes sense for him to be like, it's the opposite of the, like, where was Hera and where was Ahsoka during the Battle of Endor kind of questions. It's like, these are, it's just like Kyle Katarn randomly showing up in New Jedi Order books. It's like, these are characters who would be,
he's around.
Yeah.
I
think they could have done a little more with Zeb. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
it was nice that it was
one
there.
One of my notes is that he was just there. It's fine. He's allowed to be there, but it felt like he was like he wasn't introduced and he wasn't developed, and he just kind of like showed up a couple of times, and that was it. That was his role.
The character that I wish they would have developed a little bit more was Sigourney Weaver's character.
Yeah, so I felt like Sigourney Weaver is, a sci-fi veteran, right? She's been around a long time. I felt like her performance wasn't particularly believable or interesting. I felt like she was like reading a script with no investment into the character or the lines. I don't know if she was just directed poorly, but I felt like she kind of phoned it in.
I felt like there may have been a cut scene. Like she may have had a conversation with Dingerin early in the film that was cut or something like that. It felt like, especially at the end when she was like making some like knowing comments, it felt like it was like a little bit more of a callback. It didn't really work. That's honestly, they could have, now that I'm saying it, and I hate the like, they should have made this woman character a man arguments, but that they could have, if they'd have had her character, like the exact lines, the exact everything, but had it been the fighter pilot guy that I like instead, I think there would have been a little more, because you would have known the history of those characters.
Right. She comes off as like this like hardened intel character. Apparently she's a fighter pilot, not an intel puke or anything like that. But she comes off as this like intel character that has a bunch of history, but she doesn't talk about it.
Right.
And she's not going to talk about it. And we haven't seen her before. And we don't get that line. She seems like bitter, and like she needs to have that moment where she like maybe goes a little loose cannon on Jin Jarek when he screws up or something like that, and like establishes how personal this is for her, or like how much she cares. And but instead she's just kind of cold and like a little mocking.
I don't even necessarily think that it was her performance, or I just think that like there's an implied history there, and if we had a history, like if that had been Hera, like that would have worked, or if it had been, I mean, if this was a novel, it would have been Princess. If this had been an expanded universe novel, it would have been Princess Leia. Like she's clearly playing a role. Like you could even almost make her like a young Holdo or something. She kind of, honestly, the character reminded me a lot of the issues that you have with Holdo the first time you see The Last Jedi, in that she's this person who kind of comes out of nowhere and is supposed to have respect, and you don't, as a viewer, you don't automatically have that history. Now, I think in The Last Jedi, that's kind of the point, is that Poe is that you are, the first time you see The Last Jedi, you're Poe, and you need to learn the same lessons as Poe, but I don't think that was the case here. So I'll grant you that. Still good. Everything was great. How about Rada the Hutt?
Yeah.
I had heard about Rada beforehand, so it wasn't a super shock to me, but it's still cool to see him be just a big beefy Hutt. I would have liked to have seen him beat up the twins a little harder, to be honest.
If I were them,
I feel like you have opinions.
Well, yeah, I'm a little mixed. Like, first of all, this is a very simple thing, but like with the Star Wars history, it's just weird to have Hutts speaking basic in general, right? Fine, you can do it, right? And they wanted to make him a little more likable, and so I think they cast a voice actor who could deliver that. But a little bit weird. Just on that level.
So,
but I don't have a problem with him like breaking the Hutt mold and being
I mean,
a gladiator.
you could see that the Hutts could just refuse to speak anything but Huttese because they're giant, condescending dicks to everyone. But
well, that's actually that's kind of been my takeaway, because
I kind of like that he was different and intentionally different.
Because
actively rejected the rest.
Everybody's favorite character, Zero the Hutt, in Filoni's first work in Star Wars, spoke basic. Yeah. They have the twins speaking basic in this, so it's not just it's
which
not
I
just
think they shouldn't. I think they shouldn't have done. I think they should have just let the twins speak in Huttese at least.
And I feel like there have been other times that we've seen Hutts speak basic. Really, I'm pretty sure the only Hutt that only speaks Huttese that we've seen in stuff is Jabba. And I think that says something about Jabba's character. It's like what Nick said, is that he is so powerful that he doesn't have to learn, he's an American, damn it. And if you're in America, you're going to speak English, so basic is Spanish and Huttese is English. So he's the boss. So he's going to speak whatever language he pleases, and, So I don't know. That's my thing. I also will say, like, I I don't want like the whole Star Wars is for kids thing, because I'm not a kid and I like Star Wars. But I will say that when I was a kid, I hated the scenes when Jabba was speaking Huttese because I could not keep up with the subtitles. So it is nice to have, even if you have some subtitle scenes, to have like enough basic that somebody who can't read could follow along. Yeah, that's I don't want to, like, it's not like a huge soapbox thing, but like I can definitely see why that would be a thing. And I just, man, but I just love that I just love that Rod of the Hutt character. I loved how you think he's going to be, a bad guy, like a full blown bad guy at first. He's a gladiator, he's whatever. And like that scene when he's like, can I feed him? You think that he's like gonna trick Grogu into getting too close and then grab him and threaten him or something, like, but that line that I'm not my father, like this movie doesn't have like super deep character work or whatever, but like
no, it doesn't.
But the little bit that it does with Rod of the Hutt, just it's a very like less is more kind of thing. Like it doesn't bang. I mean, it's not subtle, but it also doesn't spend half the movie with him, and you just see him sort of. And I mean, I think that's a big part of Disney Star Wars, is that a lot of Star Wars has been rooted in like this character was a dancer in one scene of Return of the Jedi, so that means that all Twi'leks are dancers, and this scene had
Right.
Greedo was a bounty hunter, so that means that all Rhodians are bounty hunters.
Right.
Uh-huh.
We're all space racists. It's the only thing we have.
And Disney has kind of been pushing against that with with characters like Hera, and character and Rod of the Hutt. And I think that's a really interesting it's a really interesting choice that is unique to that's unique to Star Wars, in that like it's acknowledging what came before and kind of using that to tell whatever its allegory, whatever the modern allegory is. And he's such a cool when he's playing with Grogu on the beach. Like, it's like I never thought that a Hutt could be like that. Yeah, and you're right. We're all space racists.
We are space racists. It's because that's all we knew. We had one character.
Right. I will say one of my favorite moments is when because I will say one of what, like, the trope thing of like everybody can fly a starship. It's always like buzzed a little bit in the back of my head, not like a deal breaker or whatever, but I really did like when he was like, start the ship, and Rod is like, I can't fit in the cockpit, and he doesn't know how to fly.
Yeah.
Or neither of us know how to fly, and I can't even fit into the cockpit. That was a great moment.
So speaking of cockpits, the Razor Crest. So the Razor Crest is maybe like the worst thing about this movie, and it touches on like the problem I have with this whole thing. So like as soon as he got back the Razor Crest, I'm like, okay, so this is Disney saying like, we had one popular thing that we've done in the last like 6 years, and it was the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, right, Grogu, and he flies the Razor Crest. We destroyed the Razor Crest, and we had 3 seasons of Mandalorian, and then we took a break for a while. But now, like, we haven't made a Star Wars movie in a while, and we need money, so we're going to make the Mandalorian movie. We're gonna put the Mandalorian and Grogu, and then we're gonna give them back the Razor Crest like halfway into the movie.
Right. Rather than take a gamble on a new design, we're going to do the same thing.
They went back. They just went back. They just put everything back to how it was at the beginning. so that they could make a buck.
Okay, so
That's how I feel.
here's my thing about the Razor Crest, and it's not a big thing, but the very idea that the Razor Crest was so inherently overpowered, but intentionally sabotaged to be slow and cumbersome because they put the panel in, that you can somehow just rip out without doing any like work on it, and it will work perfectly and flawlessly, is the craziest thing. It's like, we had this super ship and we dialed it back in. We reeled it back.
I mean, it's like a short. What you're talking about, like how when
they pull the panel out, right? In the middle of the fight.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very Star Wars thing. It's just like, it's just like in Solo when they add the extra.
Okay. It's pretty classic to be like, I'm gonna pull out this one part or something like that. But that was more than a part.
I don't know. I mean, it's not a long term. I think when something like that happens, it's not a long term fix.
Yeah, like, I mean, I would have liked to have seen like something like maybe that backfires in some way, like it's kind of like smoking or something or sparking on the way into the next planet or something.
I don't even. Honestly,
it just felt real weird.
I barely even remember that scene because it happens in that kind of thing happens in every Star Wars.
I know, but it felt worse in this one because they pulled out like an entire freaking circuit board instead of like a physical part that's like restricting something.
I mean, Rey does that.
Yeah, Rey does that.
I hated it then too, but there were a lot of other things that I hated more than that in that movie. In this movie, I hate this up there. It's more up there.
They put the raw Kessel fuel stuff in Solo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very,
honestly, I forgot about that in Solo, but yeah.
And I feel like, and I mean, stuff is always like, that's everything they're doing. So my thing, okay. So I actually agree with Ian that I don't like the Razor Crest. But it's for a different reason. Cause for me, when I saw the Razor Crest in the Mandalorian, it was sort of like when you first see the Mandalorian and you notice that he doesn't have a jetpack. It's like, eventually he's going to get the jetpack. Like for me, the Razor Crest is this bulky, ugly ship that eventually is going to be replaced by his cool ship, which did happen. We got the coolest. It's over there. His N1. It's off camera, but his N1 fighter, which is like the coolest thing in. It's one of the reasons that I love Book of Boba Fett so much because there's like some cool stuff.
It's certainly cool, but I have problems with the N1 as well. Like, you have
problems with everything.
It's extremely impressive. So he's a bounty hunter, right? This guy's he's a bounty hunter. He lives on his ship. You have to travel a lot, and he needs some way to like capture bounties and like transport them back to his employer. And the N1 just doesn't do that. It's the least practical bounty hunter ship. So
when does he ever capture anyone?
I was gonna say he's not very good at the capture.
Theoretically, he's a bounty hunter, right? And he does do it in the show in the first season. Like he's got somebody frozen in carbonite.
Right. He's got Horatio Sands. Yeah, that's the one time
he takes bounties. But anyway, yeah, like so he definitely needed a new ship. As soon as he got the N1, I'm like, okay, this is temporary until he gets a bigger ship again. But that doesn't mean he should get another Razor Crest and just go exactly back to how things started.
So Ian, when you buy a new car, are you going to buy, or what kind of car are you going to buy?
Well, I don't know, it's a sedan. It's the right size for what I do.
Right. And what kind of car do you drive right now?
I drive a Mustang.
If your car got in an accident, would you buy a completely different car, or would you buy something that looks similar?
I would probably get a completely different car.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm more like Dingerin than you. Because if I'm going to buy another car, it's going to be a Honda Accord. I drove a Honda Accord. I drove a black Honda Accord when I was young. I learned on the other one, whatever the other one is called. The one that's not an Accord. The other Honda. A Civic. I learned to drive on a Civic. And then I got an Accord, and then I got another Accord, and unless I can't afford it, I'm gonna get another Accord. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. When the Enterprise crashes, when the Enterprise A crashes, you know what they get? They get the Enterprise B. and then they get the
But it's-
Enterprise C, and then they
but
get
it's
the
different.
Enterprise. I'm not that. This one's got a little bit of different paint, but it's still a Razor Crest.
Right.
Yeah,
I would have liked
if,
them to have gone up to a Razor Crest like ship that was maybe bigger and better, I think, than the Razor Crest, but
It
I
just feels
didn't want it to be exactly the same.
it just feels so regressive. Like
I don't.
to me it's a symbol of like Disney just being like conservative and going back, just putting everything back the way that people liked it,
Well,
so that they can get some money.
I mean, I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I can't defend it too much because I don't like the Razor Crest. It is one of my least favorite Star Wars ships, period. So I'm not going to buy a Lego of that. I'd buy what's my next least favorite Star Wars ship? I don't even know. I like most Star Wars ships. I don't like the Outrider. That's Dash Rendar's ship. I don't really like that. It's the same thing what you're saying. It's just the Millennium Falcon was popular, so we'll make another Millennium Falcon.
Right.
But I don't like Starkiller Base, but anyway. What was the point? But I mean, there is an element of you got to put your toys back when you're telling this type of I don't know if serialized storytelling is the right thing, but like these types of it's like whatever comic books are. Like there's a thing in comic books where you where you get a character, you start him out at at the baseline. Spider-Man, he's broke. He's broke. He just broke up with. He got broke up with. He's couch surfing. He's got to do street level stuff. And then over the course of the creator's run, he gets a job at this newspaper or this website or this tech company or whatever, and he develops these personal relationships, and then at the end everything goes back. You put your toys back in the box. And the way that Star Wars is at this point is that, if they're going to continue to just make tell more and more stories in this universe, there is going to be an element of needing to hit the reset button every once in a while. Yeah. I mean, I would have given him a bit. Like I liked what they did in season 3, where he was on Bo-Katan's ship. He parked the N1 on Bo-Katan's ship.
Yeah, I think that would have been better. Something that could carry like one ship or something like that.
Just like this other obscure piece of bounty hunter fiction, Cowboy Bebop. Spike basically pilots an N1.
Yeah,
that's a good ship.
Yeah, I like the Hammerhead from that one, possibly more than Spike's ship. But I like the ugly, beefy ships. Which Razor Crest not terrible, but we did that. We blew it up. Okay, it was fun.
To go back. Yeah, it's like he lost something, but don't worry, he's got another one just like it.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, he does kind of come from like a traditionalist, like we're gonna do things the old way forever kind of a culture. But that's not how he got the ship. He got it because it was like a restored classic that he had nothing to do with. And it just kind of was handed to him in perfect condition.
He probably
he found one and fixed it up. It's that it was just handed to him.
He probably wouldn't shut up about it. Or it was
we don't see that.
He's a very quiet guy. Maybe it was like one of those things where like the New Republic people were like, what can we get this guy? We want to get him a gift. And he never talks about what he wants. All he talks about is the way and the child and we want to get him. We don't want to get him something. And we're like, hey, didn't he used to pilot that other ship that exploded?
Yeah.
Just give me 5 seconds of characters talking about that then.
But
that's what I want.
And my perspective here is like in universe, I don't mind it at all. I just hate it as a storytelling device.
Yeah.
That we go back.
Yeah, it's all right.
So one thing that I feel like was a little bit divisive about this movie that I also loved was the Grogu act, like the like third act that like kind of slowed down with Din like poisoned and everything. What did you guys think about that sequence?
The guy on the bayou.
Yeah, the bayou. Yes,
it's
I
fine.
loved him so much.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was fine. It's it reminds me of the Ewoks, honestly, a little bit, and that's okay. Yeah, I like the Bayou guy. I like the fact that it shows that there's people on this planet that just don't like the Hutts but just trying to get by. I really love the fact that he essentially gave him the fish the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that. Was a great scene because you can kind of tell, like, they don't come right out and say it, but you can kind of tell that he sees him out of the corner of his eye and he just lets him steal the fish. I love that. That was, this movie doesn't have a ton of subtlety, but I felt like that was a really subtle, great moment. And just cause like, my thing is like, I was not the biggest Grogu fan. Like I was kind of like, I was not as angry as a lot of people. But I did, especially like when the movie was announced, like, a long time ago, and it was called The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like I was like, can't we just move past him or whatever? Because in the show, he has Grogu as a character has very little character development. He's mostly just a just a wimpy kid who occasionally is a Deus Ex Machina and is a lot of comic relief. And in this movie, and specifically in that act, you see him step up in a way that is, and he still is nonverbal. Like it's still very like, and it's like it's all puppets and looks weird. And
right. As he becomes less helpless, I like Grogu more and more. Not, to be fair, if we want to go back and see him wipe out an entire generation of some lady's eggs, I'm for it. It's fine. That's great. But I also appreciate a story where he's not just a baby in a basket for the entire thing.
I'm a little perplexed, like, as to how smart he actually is. Because it felt like they've changed their minds about this over time. He was just kind of a baby in the basket, and now he's like clearly very intelligent. He shows personal initiative, right? He organizes a rescue for Din. He's out there doing things, and obviously like he's learned to use the Force. He's healing people, all this stuff. But he's still like, if he ever opens his mouth, he's just giving the baby sounds, right?
Right. Well, so some of it, I think, is going to come down to what they do with his somewhat recent backstory. Whether he was like, we don't know how old he is. Not really.
But 50, isn't
he
it?
was 50 in the pilot episode.
Yeah, but we also don't know how much of that he spent like either not really in a position to learn or something like that, and whether the Empire did something that like triggered some developmental phase, or they just kept him frozen for 50 years. I don't know.
Well, he definitely has he definitely has PTSD. That's why he's nonverbal. They established that.
Okay.
Yeah, they established that in like I think it was like it was either the Ahsoka episode or
I didn't watch that,
or something like in the, not the Ahsoka show, but like when
the Ahsoka episode
when she showed up. Yeah. I feel like she shed a little bit of light. That he has PTSD, so it's not just that he's nonverbal because of that. We don't know. There's so much that we don't know. I mean, we don't know about the extent that he was experimented on, his combined with other PTSD, and then also obviously we don't know how this species develops. It's not necessarily exactly linear in terms of human development. He's not the equivalent of a 5-year-old.
Right. It's possible this is the most time he's ever spent not strapped to a chair with an IV in him.
Right. Exactly. And certainly Din Djarin has spent a significant amount of time teaching him. Like he has been he has been learning, because that's the whole, that's the whole point. And I think that this this sequence in this film shows that he is, really, stepping up to the point. It's the,
Right.
I feel like that, this is that Western thing of like you have like the strong guy, it's the lone wolf. I haven't seen Lone Wolf and Cub, or is it a comic or a movie? I don't know. It's Lone Wolf and Cub, whatever that is. And like, I think of, there's a lot of examples of this, but I think of, there's an act in the Last of Us video game where Joel is similarly to Din, is like, he's like gotten shot or something like that, and he's like passed out, and Ellie has to fend for herself for a little while, and it's my least favorite act of that video game, but that was because I liked playing as Joel.
Right. You always have to have those moments where it's not only about like the older folks wanting to teach, but it's about the younger folks both acknowledging that they learned the lesson and like willingly stepping up to use it.
Right.
Is always an important moment.
Exactly. I loved that sequence. I loved him building the little hut, and which looks like Yoda's hut, and then him using the Force and Din bumping his head. Like that,
Plus, it always makes the kids happy to see the kid character do stuff cool. That's cool.
It was this, it was like this combination of like lighthearted, but also like you take it seriously. I don't know. It was just like, for me, that is what elevated the movie from being just a fun romp to being like something really interesting and special.
All right, I'm gonna have a my wife moment. There is a moment. There's a couple moments in here. There's one particular character that she feels was mistreated through the entire movie, and it was that poor rat in the sewers that they shot and then gets blasted by an X-Wing when it hops out. She was very upset about the need to abuse that rat.
Good shot, baby.
So I will say I had peed. I had been up to use the restroom when they shot him when they shot the rat the first time I saw it. So seeing them just randomly pick off a rat in the middle of the last fight was very bizarre for me.
Let's see. The fungus palace. How do you guys like that? I mean,
it's cool.
It's neat. I mean, it's the shape that we associate with the hut buildings. It's just not what I expected it to be made out of. So that was kind of cool. Now Hunter, what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. My one little gripe, or I mean, I don't even know if this is a gripe, because it's like, I kind of like even this is one of those things where I say like, I like bad Star Wars better than good Star Wars sometimes. So I kind of liked this. You could tell when the Hutts were monologuing about how they're gonna kill Baby Yoda, that even they knew that they're not that important of villains. Cause like, they're like, one day you'll be dead, because, and Hutts live longer than humans, just like the child. And one day when you're not there to protect him, that's when we're going to strike. And then they try to kill him immediately. So it's like,
I really expected them to like tell him that they were going to feed him to a Sarlacc thing that was going to keep him alive for 30 years or something like that. But that's not what happened at all.
No. They so it's like, even they even know that they're not going to succeed in killing him here. And
that seemed weird. You're right.
Loved it. I loved it. It is a legitimate plot hole or whatever. But I just love when I see a villain that even the villain knows that they're dead.
Yeah,
they're destined to
honestly, it was a great threat. It just doesn't fit the context at all. I feel like that scene was probably written before they knew what was in the pit.
I mean, might have been the problem. I feel like probably like you could argue that even if they realize that he's probably going to survive this little, I mean, they're still messing with him, even if they realize he's probably going to survive because he's so competent. And they also don't think that they're going to end up being fed to the dragon snake.
Right. The other scenario that I came up with while they were doing that was I thought they were going to throw him into an arena to go back, kind of like go back to the 1st thing, and force him to fight stuff, which they kind of did by throwing the snake people, the Amani at them first, but it wasn't. It still didn't make sense. I didn't like it that much. It was a cool fight. I just thought it didn't make any sense.
The Amani were cool. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like Amina Man in Jabba's palace.
Let's see. I do kind of feel like the Hutts should have had more shit, and especially characters that weren't droids running around. That felt weird.
Well,
I thought their enforcers were pretty cool, actually.
I do like the droids that they have. The droid with the wolf cloak, top tier.
Cool.
He was great.
Well, like the thing is, this is, you got to remember that these are not. This is not the. I mean, they are the de facto leaders of the Hutt crime world, but Jabba got killed, and Bib Fortuna just was like, I'm the boss now, until Boba Fett showed up and killed him. These are two random, they're like his cousins or something. Like they're not. It's not like they are. They aren't like they have seized control, but there's no loyalty there. There's no back. This is a recent thing. The crime syndicates and everything are kind of in disarray because Jabba the Hutt has been.
I just imagined the crime syndicates being like bigger, I think, is the main thing, and a little more organized.
but this is the Hutts. It's not the Pikes. It's not Black Sun. I
think I always kind of assumed that the Hutts worked a lot more like Black Sun than anything else.
Right. I mean, I'm mostly full of crap because they haven't established this, but I do think there's something to. You cut off the head, and then they went, and so it does make sense that they wouldn't necessarily, that their army might be, or maybe they don't trust people.
I mean, that makes perfect sense, but I wanted more gangsters, man. That's what I wanted. I wanted more cool aliens with weird guns, and I like the battle droids, and I honestly I wouldn't remove the battle droids. I just would like an elite core of better guys that wasn't just this one bounty hunter that doesn't actually work for them on a regular basis.
Speaking of Embo,
the Amani weren't an elite core. They're just weird. They're just weird and creepy.
Speaking of Embo, though, I thought, I felt like Dave Filoni didn't want to kill his characters, but I felt like there could have been a showdown, a final showdown between Embo and Din.
I'm sure they're saving that for the next season or something like that, or 2 seasons from now.
I would have been pretty upset if they just killed him off, because I didn't feel like they did enough with him to justify. I felt like he was more of it. What is he? You said he's from past stuff. What past projects was he in?
He's in the Clone Wars.
He is in Clone Wars. Okay.
Yeah. Remember that episode with where it was like the 7 samurai, but with the bounty hunters.
Not specifically. I love Cad Bane.
Yeah, there was an episode where 7 bounty hunters band up, and and he was one of them. Yeah,
the Dave Filoni bounty hunter that I think of is Cad Bane. I mean, I'm sure
may or may not be dead now after his really bad appearance in Book of Boba Fett.
That's wrong. You're wrong. He is dead, and that was a great appearance. And that was one of my favorite.
I didn't like how. No, it was not. It was not done well.
I think about that scene all the time. The way that he
looked so bad. It was not good.
I thought he looked great, but
he looked
fine, but
he's an animation first character.
Yeah.
You have an animation first character. Sometimes it's hard to translate them to live action.
True. Except the animated character was based off the Duros you see in the Mos Eisley Cantina, and they looked way better than Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett.
Disagree. I thought he was great in Book of Boba Fett. And he says, when he says, remember that Boba Fett worked for the Empire, oh man, I want to see why he said that.
I'm sure that Also, the other thing that really was kind of weird about Ebbo is his ship is the same as his hat. I'm sure that existed before. It's just weird.
It's his whole thing.
He likes circles, I guess.
Okay, what else? I had one or two other notes here. One, it was weird to see opening credits in a Star Wars.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah.
And two, maybe I just missed something. But so Coin is an ex-Imperial, right? They kept
everyone is an ex-Imperial unless you're actively, right? Yeah.
But why did he have a bunch of stormtroopers?
Because that's the only way you know they're ex-Imperials is to parade stormtroopers in front of the audience.
An ex-Imperial shouldn't have stormtroopers.
No, he's not like an ex-Imperial like he defected. He's an ex-Imperial in the sense that he's like Warlord Zinj.
Yeah, he's a warlord with his own power structure.
Ex-Imperial as in the Empire is gone.
Right. He doesn't have anyone to support him, so he's an ex-Imperial.
Or he's not
connected to any of the others.
Moff Gideon or whatever, Grand Admiral Thrawn or one of the he's not he has taken his resources, which is a fleet of Star Destroyers and a legion of stormtroopers, and ran off and hit on a planet.
Okay,
he's not crusading for the return of the Empire. He's making money.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that was a me thing, but even if they had called him an ex-Imperial warlord, I would have liked it.
Well,
more,
he never got to warlord status. They just, I mean, they didn't know who he was, so how would they know?
Fair enough.
Just a few other shout outs. So first of all, I really liked the soundtrack. There's
always top tier for Mandalorian.
There's a synth stuff on the cyberpunk planet. I really liked the cyberpunk planet. I really liked Monkey Scorsese.
Yeah.
I really liked all the Babu freaks. I thought I thought them taking the little ship is great. And it's because they went, first of all, it's the only ship they can fly. And second of all, it's because the priority was for them to save their brother. They'll figure out with Din Djarin, but the main reason they were there is to save one of them.
Though, you can just make a smaller ship and it's still capable of interstellar travel and have a hyperdrive and all this
if you're really, really, really good at it.
Right. If you're not pushing a lot of mass, perhaps.
Yeah.
The other thing that kind of bothered me was they were clearly called from another planet to starship repairs. Do you really only need the tools in that tiny toolbox you have to fix an entire ship? Is that there's no bigger power tools or things that you might want in that ship? I thought that was funny. That just amused me. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's cute. It's fine. It's funny that they can do it.
Yeah, they have a small ship.
It's fine. It's just kind of oh man, yeah, you're really fixing everything with a screwdriver and a drill, I guess.
There's a Lego set of that ship, and I'm pretty tempted to buy it.
It feels a bit
you can get that Lego ship life size.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels a bit like there are a bunch of little puppets, and they have a little puppet ship. Which is fun.
I was honestly eyeing that ship and being, I bet they can get Jin in there if they really wanted to. You might not get his stuff, but he could fit.
Well, they do that's actually another thing that I love about this movie is they establish that people are different sizes very much because Rada the Hutt can't fit in the cockpit of Din's ship. And then Din can't fit in the little ship. It is an interesting thing of not every Star Wars alien is the same size, and and
I was actually thinking about that at the beginning when Zeb is walking behind them and he's just so much bigger. And I was good to see that kind of repeated throughout the film.
And then he says, I might have a uniform that fits him at the end. About Rada.
I think I would have been amused just to see him come out with a vest that's clearly torn or something like that. I really hope. Fine. I didn't need it.
I really hope we get to.
Well, I'm sure we'll see him again.
More of him. Yeah. What was the other thing?
Depending on the budget. really.
So this is like a really, really, really minor thing that I appreciated. Almost all of the trailers were of the opening sequence. Like I
So yeah, no spoil, not as many
Yeah.
spoilers is nice.
yeah, it didn't
Nice.
yeah, it didn't spoil the movie, but it also just like not even that, because I think that people overblow the like, oh, the trailer spoils the movie thing, but like there are sometimes trailers where like a big set piece will be revealed, you know, where like a big exciting visual, you know, all the cool parts are in the trailer.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where it's not going to like, it doesn't tell you the entire story, but a lot of times you'll be like, okay, I've seen these two characters fighting. Nothing bad can happen to these characters until we get there.
Well, like the best example that I can think of is this really bad movie that I've brought up before called The Amateur, where it's one of those movies where it's like regular guy, bad thing happens and he has to murder a bunch of people. And it was with the guy from Bohemian Rhapsody. But in the trailer, the idea is that he's like a tech guy, and so he's like good at like exploding things and hacking and stuff, and everybody underestimates him because he's not good at shooting a gun. So in the trailer, he says he goes up to this guy who's swimming in one of those in like a pool that's like in Dubai, that's like got like a glass bottom that goes across two buildings, and he like messes with the pressure and causes it to crack and, you know, kills the guy that way.
Remake? Okay.
And you see the trailer and you're like, this movie's going to be awesome. There's going to be like a bunch of these sequences. And that is literally the only time he does anything cool like that in the whole movie.
Look, I will never forgive movie trailers for being incredibly misleading, because I saw Snow Dogs based on the trailer where the dogs talk during the entire trailer, and that is a post-credits scene.
Yeah. But anyway, really appreciated that that it just like they had like a strong opening set piece with the AT-ATs and everything, and that's what most of the trailer was, and that's all we needed, because it was like, this is going to be it told you what you needed, that this is going to be a Star Wars movie where there's stormtroopers and AT-ATs, and there's a Dingerin's gonna be there with the Baby Yoda, and it's like, that's what the movie was, and it's great, easiest 5 stars of the year.
Hyper-competent mercenary murder stormtroopers is a recipe that will get a lot of watches every single time.
So, didn't do well in the box office. Kind of a disappointment, maybe a flop, which to me isn't very surprising. Like, I don't know why Disney thought that it would make $1 billion or whatever they wanted it to do. But
I did see a comment, I think, on Reddit that I thought was interesting. If they had called it, if they had used the phrase Baby Yoda and not Grogu, would more people have seen it?
Good question.
I will admit that I think that they I mean, maybe it would actually be like super cringe inducing, but I do wish that somebody would call him Baby Yoda in the like in universe, like not like, I mean, I understand that he should probably have a name, but just call him, you know, oh, hey, Baby Yoda. Oh, you're just a little Baby Yoda. Like, that's what I thought. Uh-huh. That was my whole thing, was that when we first see Ahsoka, because she knew Yoda.
Right. There's not a lot of characters that know Yoda at this point.
She would say, oh, you're just a little Baby Yoda. Because also that's the kind of way that she talks. Like, you know, she kind of is like, has like that sense of humor. But, you know, the box office is like, first of all, there are. I'm glad that we waited until we were an hour into it to bring this up. I feel like
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say you're actually glad that it didn't do that well.
No. That's not what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that I constantly hear people talk about box office numbers for these big budget movies, and it is a complete, like, nobody knows what they're talking about. Like, yes, this didn't make $1 billion. It only made $300 million or something. And, you know, usually you have to make double your budget, which that is that. But in this case, you got to make more than double your budget because the guy on Reddit said so, or like nobody knows how any of this stuff works. Most of that money, most of the budget is like Disney borrowing money from itself. Like Star Wars is going to
much of it is the advertising budget,
fake numbers. Yeah.
But I think ultimately Star Wars is going to be fine. Yeah, I do think that a lot of the most interesting Star Wars has come out of times when Star Wars was not as much in the public eye.
Well, and my expectations are lowest of Star Wars. I am the happiest.
Well, and that we can one thing we can definitely say about its box office numbers is it's the lowest grossing Star Wars film, and it made less than Solo.
But it also costs significantly less to make than Solo.
Yeah.
Like Solo was like $100 million more.
It's hard to say. Like
Solo was double. Solo was 275 to 300, and Grogu was 166.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big difference. And honestly, like, and I'm glad we waited this long to talk about it. But like, I don't think that it is just. It's not a super important thing to me, because like most things that are popular are bad. So, I don't understand why people don't say that anymore. I know it's like a Gen X idea that like most things that are popular are bad, but like things that are less popular, it's not a bad thing. But like, yeah, I do think that like the way to be successful in today's day and age is to not spend $300 million on a movie. It's to spend, 150. If this looked way better than Solo. Like this movie, like if this movie was less expensive, I don't have any sense of like what's expensive to do and what's not expensive to do, because this movie was the best looking Star Wars movie that I've ever seen.
So I'll tell you what probably happened is in Solo, it all went to the actor's budget versus the rest of the budget. Because it feels like the actors in this movie we're not nearly a center stage. We don't have the Woody Harrelsons. We don't have a lot of the actual big name actors that came up like outside of the series coming in. And we have Sigourney Weaver, but that's like a one-off, and she's not in that much.
And you have friggin' what's his Pedro Pascal. Obviously,
but he's part of this. Yeah,
and you can't have it without him. You got the guy from The Bear is Rod of the Hutt. He's like the biggest actor in the world right now.
I wonder how much screen time Pedro Pascal actually had. A few minutes, maybe. Like everyone knows he's not usually the guy in the suit, but obviously he had to fight with his helmet off. He had to fight the dragon snake thing.
Jeremy Allen White, by the way, is his name, but he is like the biggest actor in the world right now. Because although he's a TV actor, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's exactly why I don't give a shit. He's a TV actor. I haven't watched it. I don't care. Nick,
so you would hate The Bear so much.
I know I would, and I haven't seen it.
Because I hate it. It is so not so for stressful. You. It is so not for you that I dislike it for the same reasons as you would dislike it. That's how much not for you it is. Because it is.
I would want to light myself on fire rather than watch it.
It is pure like cringe people yelling at each other, like dysfunctional. Yeah, every scene is uncomfortable. It is. Ooh. Yeah, you can. I'd say you can skip that. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a safe bet. Yeah.
And I watched 2 seasons of it, but because anyway, but yeah, like Jeremy Allen White is like, it had some people. There were some people in this, but I agree with you that it wasn't. I think Solo did have, it had Woody Harrelson. It had the lady from Game of Thrones. It had
Glover. It just had a lot had a lot of mid-range to higher level actors, and it that really just goes fast when you're splitting it up like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be, but it was. This movie was gorgeous, and
no, this movie looked great. The cinematography, the colors for each planet, I love the cyberpunk planet. Even if we see like one street and a dark room, I do like the salt bar. The salt bar was fantastic. Just the idea that there's the salt bar is.
I liked his line afterward. I try to avoid violence.
Yeah.
The salt, I loved him. He gets the cube of salt. It's like, he's like, what am I going to do this? He drops it in the guy's drink.
Yeah.
Oh man. But the movie is great. It was great.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly think.
I love the little things about this movie a lot more than some of the other stuff. I think it feels much more crafted than I think, like you said, the member berry stuff. I'm glad that's been addressed as like they don't want to do that again. If the audience is good enough to catch the Easter eggs, they'll catch the Easter eggs.
Right.
If not, that's okay. And
if not,
that's where you want to be as a fandom.
If not, then somebody will make a YouTube video explaining it.
Right.
Like we don't need to. Like
you want to be like the D&D movie where they're like trying to figure out every single spell because they're not yelling its name out as they cast it every single time or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You want to make the fans dig for it rather than like shout it at them and tell them they should be impressed.
Yeah, like I listened to a David Sedaris' new book. You guys probably don't know who David Sedaris is, but
sounds familiar.
He's a humorist, This American Life guy. Anyway, but he had a joke. He reads the audiobooks he like reads to like live audiences, and that's the audiobook, or sometimes anyway. But so I was listening to it, and he told a joke that was like talking about a picture that somebody that they took of him when he was like in Hawaii, like near a volcano. And he said that it looked like he was at the top of or that he was in Mordor, and like overpronounced Mordor, called it Mordor. And the whole crowd laughs. And then he says the place, the bad place in Lord of the Rings or whatever. Like he felt the need to clarify, like that's the place from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he didn't trust his audience. And like this movie wasn't like, oh, Dezeric, you mean like the chessboard? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really appreciated that. A lot of little touches, and I think that's Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni is the boss of Star Wars now, and so that is a good. Good thing.
I think there's a huge amount of nerd culture that just I think that most of the franchises could learn a lot by just trusting their audience to be nerds, rather than like explaining it to the mainstream every time, and just trusting in the nerds making it cool and exciting enough that everyone wants to learn more, rather than just beating them over the head with it.
You just have to manage your budget accordingly, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna make it for the nerds, don't spend $200 million on your movie,
on your A-listers,
yeah,
who may or may not bring a lot to the plot. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
And
be choosy with it.
And we got another movie next year, so we'll see.
What's the next movie?
Starfighter.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, has an A-lister. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm a little concerned, yeah. I'll admit, I saw that and I was like, I don't know what I want from this, but you know what?
Hopefully it's good.
Look,
I don't know. I don't know. Ryan Gosling in a sci-fi movie about a spaceship. I can't see it. Nick, did you see that movie yet?
Which one? Hail Mary? I have not seen Project Hail Mary yet.
Yeah,
I need to.
That one you gotta see. Yep.
No.
I thought it was just okay.
It was good.
I really liked Disclosure Day, but everybody else thought it was just okay.
I think if I had to choose one of those two, I know that Project Hail Mary is the better reviewed movie, but Disclosure Day interests me as a topic more.
Yeah, watch it. It's good.
So I think I probably will see that one first.
I don't know if you compare. I don't know. It's apples and oranges. I think you would like Disclosure Day.
Yeah, no, they're two completely different kinds of movies. They're not related at all.
But I think we've been going. This is the longest episode we've had in a while, which is good. I was afraid we were going to talk for like 20 minutes. Ian was going to say he hated it, and then I was going to say I loved it, and Nick was going to say it was fine.
I was going to say it was fine, but I still hate Star Wars. No, not this time. No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was fine.
Did it get you excited about Star Wars again?
No, not really.
Are you going to watch Andor?
No, probably not.
You should watch Andor.
I should watch Andor. Look, there's a lot of shows that I should watch, and instead I am watching really bad anime.
I think you would like Andor. It wasn't for me, but it's the things that you like about Star Wars that that are not as much.
Nick will like Andor if he watches it.
I probably will.
All right,
There's just a lot of momentum against it at this point.
Yeah. Darth Maul Shadow Lord, also excellent.
That's Darth Maul does not appeal to me at this point anymore. That's not a draw.
I thought the show was fine. Okay, so we had previously discussed our next episode is on Psycho.
Yes.
Psycho, yeah.
That is pre-chosen.
Yes. So we'll see about that. Oh, just real fast. Where does this fall in you guys' rank of Star Wars movies?
Oh, I'd have to think about that a little more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't just spring that one on me, man.
Somewhere around Solo.
So I have one.
If I put it somewhere around Solo, that would mean it's number 3. So I don't know.
So I have it one ahead of Solo because it is I think it's very similar to Solo, but but it does a few things a little bit better, which makes it.
I don't remember where on my list Solo is, but it's probably
I would have to check my list and see if I can
makes it number 6 overall. My rank is Empire, Sith, Rogue One, A New Hope, Last Jedi, Mandalorian and Grogu, Solo, Force Awakens, Holiday Special, Clone Wars, Rise of Skywalker, Phantom Menace, Return of the Jedi, Attack of the Clones, Caravan of Courage, Battle for Endor.
Oh yeah, I remember
top 6 seems
wrong,
likely, to be honest.
How wrong Kendall's ranking of Return of the Jedi is. It's a travesty.
I forget what I had it. I think Empire Strikes Back might have been my number 1, or maybe it was A New Hope.
I'd have to watch that one episode of the KendallCast Star Wars Roundtable.
Yeah, all I remember is that Solo was number 2, and I was really mad that you guys dropped it so far down.
Well, did you have Rogue One at number 1 then?
Yeah,
I feel like Rogue One was at your top.
Yeah, maybe Empire was number 3 or something. I don't really remember, other than Solo was number 2. That's
my list changes a lot. I think right now, the last time I wrote it, I must have been extra mad at Return of the Jedi because I liked Return of the Jedi better when I saw it in theaters recently. But man, Revenge of the Sith in theaters was great. I saw that whatever that was last year. Looking forward to A New Hope in theaters next year.
Yeah,
for the 40th.
Will it be the despecialized version?
I think it is. I think it is supposed to be the despecialized version, which
apparently
is
they're working on it. They're restoring it.
Okay, sure.
But I think the despecialized.
I hate that we have that as a thing, but yeah, it's
the
fine.
Muppets.
Yeah.
Like it looks I don't know. I think it looks bad. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what we think about. So that's what we thought about The Mandalorian and Grogu. Go see it if you can. It's probably not still in theaters because it'll probably take me a couple days to release this, and it looked like it was barely in theaters.
I'm sure just a few days. It'll be fine.
But it'll be or see it in see it when it comes to streaming or whatever. See it. It's good. Like it's no matter what, it's worth watching. Like
yeah, it's worth your time. Yeah. Probably
do it.
Let's see what we think about Psycho next time on the KendallCast Movie Roundtable. This podcast is a production of the KendallCast Podcast Network. You can support the show for just $2 a month at patreon.com/KendallCast or make a direct donation through the PayPal link at kendallcast.ninja. Every little bit helps.